Hey, all, in this next step of talking about quadratic functions and just functions in general, we are going to talk about important points on functions, specifically the intercepts. So we've talked about intercepts a lot this year. We have x-intercepts, the place where our function would cross the x-axis, the horizontal axis. We have y-intercepts, the place where they would cross the y-axis. And the easiest way to find those intercepts is to actually graph the functions. So there are ways to find intercepts without graphing, but the easiest and best way to find them is to actually go look for them on the graph. So if I have a bunch of functions, and I mentioned in the previous video, sometimes we call it g of x or h of x or j or k. If we're ever going to evaluate, we want to make sure we use f. But if we have a bunch of functions and we want to find out which of them has an x-intercept of 3, so which of them crosses this horizontal axis, we can just graph them. So I would graph all of these, and I would encourage you to graph them in order so that we know which one is which, and they will be color-coded on Desmos, which is really nice. And we can skip doing the function notation for now because it will graph these functions even if we just do the right side. So when I put negative 4x plus 15, and then I want to divide that by 5, so I can actually highlight that and click the divided by 5. It's going to graph it for us. This one's a straight line. We can go find the x-intercept. It'll be gray. It's not 3, so that does not have an x-intercept of 3. So I could eliminate that as an answer choice. And you could delete this out, or you could just turn it off and put the next one in there. And as I've said previously, it's a good idea to take the extra 10 to 15 seconds it takes to double check that you've typed something in correctly. It's really easy to make mistakes when you're going from one screen to another or from the paper to your computer. So just take your time. We're looking for x-intercepts. We have 2 of them here. Neither of them are 3. So this one does not have an x-intercept of 3. And so we can keep going. And when you put that function in there and you have the box highlighted or you click on the line, it's always going to put the intercepts in gray. This one down here is a y-intercept. Here is my x-intercept of 3. That's one of my answer choices. Be careful. This is a type of problem where they want you to identify each function that has an x-intercept of 3. So that tells you there's probably more than one answer. So in the test program, we would click this one because it has an x-intercept of 3, and then we'd go look for another one. We should check them all because there is probably more than one and maybe more than 2. So here we have negative 3 and positive 5. We're looking for positive 3, so that's not it. So let's check this last one. Again, I had to take my time and correct my mistake. I forgot to put the 3 at the beginning. This one also has an x-intercept of 3, so that's another answer. So on the test program, I would click both of those answers, make sure that they were highlighted, and I have the right answer. And you could turn all these on at the same time if you want. I think that gets a little visually confusing. So one at a time, check each answer off one at a time and see if it has an x-intercept of 3. And then when we move to the next problem, we clear out our Desmos. We're looking for y-intercepts in this one. It's important to pay attention to read the directions. Make sure you know what you're trying to answer, know what you are looking for. Here we're looking for which functions do not have a y-intercept of 2. So while you're going through the test, it might be a good idea to use the tools, the drawing tools that you have or highlighting to highlight the word not. Make sure you know you're looking for the ones that do not have a y-intercept of 2. And this time we're looking for the place where they cross this vertical y-axis. We can use the same process. We can just type each of them in. You don't have to do the y equals. You can if you want to, but we can just do x plus 10. Highlight that and divide it by 5. It does have a y-intercept of 2. That second number tells us the y-intercept value, 2. So this is not an answer. We're looking for the ones that do not have a y-intercept of 2. Even though you can look at them one at a time, it's not a terrible idea to have them all saved in there. So if you typed one in incorrectly, you can go back and fix it and check it again. This one has an intercept of 2. That's not our answer. This one has an intercept of 2, a y-intercept. Remember, these are x-intercepts, so we're not looking at those right now. So let's see if this one works. This one's y-intercept is all the way down here, -10. It's not 2, and so this is our answer. And then this one, it says which function. So this time we're just looking for one answer. It's that one right there. So this is the end of this video. There is one question for you to do on your own. Make sure that you check to see if you got it right and you ask for help if any of this was confusing or if you just need a little bit of help.